We're excited to share a first look at a project we're developing at Ubisoft San Francisco. This is our take on a multiplayer first-person shooter.
We need to get you in early and find out what you think.
Our goal is to make a best-in-class shooter for you, the players, to compete
and have fun with your friends.
It's fast-paced firefights
meets punk rock mosh pit.
We're proud to introduce our new game,
Tom Clancy's Efiant.
So recently, I was planning some new Ghost Recon content, or at least procrastinating it. And then I saw there's gonna be a new Tom Clancy game. So I was wondering what kind of game could have been, and I heard it was gonna be Battle Cat, a arena shooter with different factions from various Tom Clancy games battle each other. At that point, I've already lost my interest. And then Ubisoft shits out this, and it's worse than I could possibly imagine. Like, Ubisoft, what are you doing? Who are you making this game for? Surely not the Clancy fans. And if you're trying to pull a new crowd, this game's not good enough. I mean, just look at their own gameplay. Listen to what they're saying.
Inspired by maverick groups from across Tom Clancy's games and beyond. From this inspiration, we created new characters and gameplay unique to our shooter.
Like, no, you didn't get inspired by other Tom Clancy games. They straight up ripped factions from other Tom Clancy games. And some might say, they gave these new factions / characters new abilities that they didn't have in their respective original games. And I tell you, that's just the fucking bare minimum they need for a new game. I mean, sure, the whole point is Tom Clancy universe crossover, but don't give me this marketing crap like it created something truly original and its greatest innovation ever in the history of shooter games. And the unique quote-unquote gameplay they were talking about, it's like the world has never seen abilities like turret, shield, invisibility cloak, scan, healing. It's literally Valorant plus Overwatch, with dated gunplay and animation system that looks like it's from 2013 or earlier. Just listen to what they say about faction abilities.
Have some key elements. They have passive traits, they have an ultra, and they have the freedom to choose from a number of different abilities that will change the moment-to-moment gameplay.
Yeah, abilities and supers. Like we've never seen those before in shooter games. It just looks generic and not interesting. Oh, and the gunplay? Oh boy, do they love talking about gunplay.
We know to be a great shooter, the gunplay has to be our top priority. Can't stress this hard enough. We are a shooter first.
Gunplay is still the key.
And the gunplay looks like it's ripped straight from Modern Warfare 3, a game from 2011. And I don't know how that's possible, to create a 10-year-old shooting experience on the cutting-edge Snowdrop engine. It's not impactful, and it looks and feels dated. And it has to go up against games like Modern Warfare 2019, which has excellent gunplay, smooth, fast movement, and great animations. What does Tom Clancy's Defiant have then? Generic gameplay with mediocre gunplay. It just has no standout quality or anything special that can appeal to the player base of other games. There's just no way that Ubisoft can draw in crowd from games like Warzone, Apex, Overwatch, Valorant, or any other popular shooter that's already on the market. It'll also be pretty hard for Ubisoft to retain any player base they might get from being free to play or just curiosity alone. Again, because there's nothing special about the game. You might argue that, hey, it's free to play and we don't have a AAA free to play arena shooter. But the thing is, arena shooter is going out of style. Even Call of Duty, the most popular game mode over there, is actual Warzone. And Warzone's free, so is Apex. I mean, you might get people taking a break from Warzone, Apex, or Overwatch to come over and check your game, but I bet they're just gonna play a little bit, and after a week or a month, they're just gonna go back to whatever game they were playing. At this point, it really begs the question of why make this a generic arena shooter? And why make this a Tom Clancy title? And after watching the reveal and interview for the game, looking at some comments made online, from Reddit, Twitter, or YouTube, I think I can now kind of piece together how and why this game came to be. Basically, Ubisoft just want an easy to make, easy to maintain live service platform where they can cram in as much cosmetic microtransaction as they possibly can. And I think that's why you see them quote unquote borrowing so many gameplay features from other games of the genre, and why their animations in this game seems pretty basic by today's standard. Not that it's bad, it's just kind of dated and really doesn't stand out when compared against its competition. Looking at the graphics and the animation, it really doesn't look like a AAA production, despite being made by a AAA developer. But then still, why does it have to be a Tom Clancy game? Well, I guess it's because, one, they don't have to build the game concept from the ground up. You see, this way, they can just borrow ideas, locations, or even recycle some assets, maybe, from other games. And B, they can hope to bring in fans from other Tom Clancy franchises. The problem is their goal and their vision for the game does not line up well with the Tom Clancy brand, and it rightfully blew up in their face. You see, they wanted to make the game very colorful, very vivid, making punk rock the theme of the game, and to try to appeal to players of Valorant, Fortnite, Overwatch, or Apex Legends. And now, most importantly, by making the game punk rock, rebellious, trendy, and colorful, they can now put in whatever kind of cosmetics they want in the game without any real limitations. And that's most important for them in this game. The problem is now Ubisoft also decided to leech their new title off other established Clancy titles, and put themselves in a situation where the theme and style of the new game is butting head against the general established image, quality, tone, and gameplay style of other Clancy games. And that's why you get these laughable, desperate attempts from Mark Rubin, stressing the game has realistic, grounded gunplay and authentic weapons, while the trailer instantly shows gameplay like this right after. Their gunplay is not realistic either. The recoils are off, and the impact and feedback felt from the gun is not good. The authentic weapons that Mark was talking about.
We have an ever-growing arsenal of authentic weapons and attachments.
I can already spot mistakes in IGN's leaked gameplay. Look at this so-called RPK-74. It's a 5.45 by 39mm gun, feeding from a 7.62 by 39mm magazine. If it's really an RPK-74, it should feed from a polymer magazine. And if it's RPK like its appearance, it should only have 40 rounds in its magazine. So much for authentic weapons then, huh? Their guns sound like shit too, by the way. And their characters looked like they came right out of Apex or Valorant. And even these designs are too tamed for the kind of customization they want to put in the game.
On top of all this, we also have Defiants, which are the characters that you can select within those factions. And every Defiant has a set of skins, so you can really customize what your character looks like when you play.
So with these Defiant classes or characters, now the faction system means nothing in terms of looks. Because of all the crazy customization, now no faction will have a uniform look that we can quickly distinguish on the battlefield. You just can't have a realistic, grounded Tom Clancy experience with a purple punk rock theme. And Mark Fish AI Rubin think this is a good fit for Tom Clancy.
It's fast-paced firefights meets punk rock mosh pit.
And look! Even their creative director looked like he wasn't sure if this is the right thing to do. Look at his face!
We're proud to introduce our new game. This is our take on a multiplayer first-person shooter.
We need to get you in early and find out what you think.
Because this is a new look for Tom Clancy. Can you tell us a little bit more about this direction?
So we wanted to make a game that had at its core a strong expectation of quality around gameplay. Movement, aiming, shooting, etc. All needed to feel grounded and realistic, but also smooth and reactive. And we felt that matched up really well with the Clancy universe.
No, Mark, it's not. And what the hell is strong expectation of quality around its gameplay? Smooth movement, shooting, aiming is just the minimum for a polished AAA release. And your game doesn't seem so hot in this aspect either. That's just the most hollow, pointless corporate marketing bullshit I've ever heard.
But we wanted to bring a very different take on the attitude that is, I would say, normally associated with Clancy. And I think you can even see that in our title. The X-Defiant logo is really in a kind of irreverent and rebellious take that we think flips the normally serious Clancy vibe.
And why do you need a different take on Tom Clancy? They kept saying they want to maintain the realistic, grounded base of a Tom Clancy game, while bringing a new look and new take on Tom Clancy. What the fuck does that mean? That's conflicting message. You cannot have a grounded, realistic experience where your game look like this. With art style like Apex Legend, Riders Nation, or any other crazy futuristic shooters out there. And yeah, I see your title and logo, and it speaks nothing of grounded realism. Oh, and XD? That's like boomer talk for emojis. I just don't understand why Ubisoft feel the need to mold Tom Clancy into something that it isn't. If you want your colorful punk rock, Apex, Overwatch style shooter, just go do that and make sure it's original and good. You can even throw in some Tom Clancy characters. People wouldn't mind. And if you want to do Tom Clancy, just do a proper serious military shooter. By combining both, you're hurting both the Tom Clancy brand and the new game you're trying to push. The Clancy fans who likes more serious military-style games went riot because you introduce a game that has nothing to do with Tom Clancy, giving the new game, which isn't even set to release yet, a bad rep. On the other hand, you're cheapening the Clancy IP because you bring another generic, wacky shooter that is not a military or political thriller game into the portfolio of Tom Clancy's IP. So now the Tom Clancy brand means nothing. It doesn't mean quality nor style. Ubisoft, you're just wasting your own IP and assets by not introducing a game that Tom Clancy fans, your fans, would like to play, all the while dooming your own new title to fail. And it's not like a generic game like this had a great chance in a crowded market to begin with, because being late to the party with a over-the-top generic entry worked real well for Ubisoft, and they're already congratulating themselves.
We are super stoked by what we've accomplished so far.
And I couldn't be more proud of our incredible team.
I love talking about our development team. And we have a team with just incredibly diverse backgrounds and experiences in game development. Now, we've built this team of industry veterans, and we have a lot of experience in making first-person shooters. But on top of that, we have a number of production processes that are helping us get this game to a point that we're really proud of. So we have things like feedback loops and iterations that we do very quickly. We play our game every single day, and it is so fun. And it's just helping us find the fun and really emphasize that as we develop this game. So we've worked really hard on this game. We're really proud of it. We think it's really special in the first-person shooter genre, and we can't wait to continue building it with you all.
I mean, I'm not saying that their job's easy or it's not challenging in the pandemic, but if the end result is not much, it doesn't matter how hard you pat yourself on the back. This whole debacle just shows Ubisoft is tone deaf, lagging behind the trend, lacks the ability to innovate, and delusional. They're tone deaf because they don't understand their player base, they can't read the room, they're slow to react to market trends, and when they do, they always do it with a generic, unoriginal, uninspiring entry. And lastly, they're delusional because they think all these can work.
One of the number one things that I want to say about the team and the game is that we're just here really to make a game that people enjoy playing. And that's it, really. It's literally that simple. We want the beginning of this game's life to be very humble and focus on being transparent with our community and have them be involved in evolving the game. I don't think we want to have any features or parts of the game that we won't talk about with our community. And there's maybe the next game will have those improvements, as we want this game to last for years. We are not going to abandon it and go off and make another game after this one launches. We want to be dedicated to our community. We'll make some mistakes, but we hope the community will trust us enough to know that we will always own up to those, and we will always work to fix them as fast as possible. Because again, at the end of the day, we just want to build a game and a community that people really want to be a part of.
Ah, that's great to hear, Mark. It has me very excited.
I mean, Mark, you can't just slap buzzwords like realistic, authentic, grounded, community and fun on the front of the game and hope it's gonna work. You need to build a game that is up to par. Judging from what I've seen so far, this game's not special, barely Tom Clancy, and it's definitely not built for the community. At this point, I have serious doubt on whether Ubisoft can pull off another good, grounded Tom Clancy game, be it Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, or God forbid, Splinter Cell. And in the end, I don't get a new good Tom Clancy game to play. Ubisoft loses money. Everybody loses. That's why I'm mad. Anyway, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed the video. Or if you'll still care, now that I'm like 4 or 5 days late with this video because I work so freaking slow. Well, I know I sure don't enjoy the reveal of Tom Clancy's XD Efiant. Ubisoft, just get your shit together, will ya?
Thank you so much for watching. We really want your input, so please reach out to us on social media.